Congressman Khanna is a Democrat of California. He's a vice chair of the Progressive Caucus, which is launching what it calls an accountability summer after the passage of the big billionaires bill. And he joins me now. Congressman, good to have you on. Happy 4th. Where's your head at after this legislative victory for this genuinely awful piece of legislation?
Well, happy 4th, Chris, to you and your viewers. Look, I think you were absolutely right when you said that this bill is worse than Trump's first tax bill, than George Bush's tax bill. And here's the rub of it. This bill actually makes working class folks worse off. It takes something from them. It's taking their health care. It's taking their food security, all to give tax breaks to the billionaires. The previous bills, they at least had a pretense of making everyone slightly better off. And what we're going to be doing this summer is going into districts like Nancy Mace's, which have over 100,000 people on Medicaid, and not having me say things, but having people themselves tell their stories about what this is going to mean for hospitals there, for families there, for premiums going up.
Yeah, I mean, how much do you think is that where you see accountability happening, right? So, you know, there's going to be the midterms, right? And there are a bunch of frontline House members, although Nancy Mace got herself a sweet deal in which she was redistricted into a very, very comfy district. Not coincidentally, her politics got much more right-wing when she went from a swing district to a very Trumpy district. But it does seem like that is the frontline place, and then there's obviously Senate contests, that this might actually start to bite in some political fashion.
Absolutely. Look, there are districts like David Valdeo's, a couple of points where which have some of the largest Medicaid recipients, where I think, you know, he's in huge trouble. But we need to actually go into these districts and show, not tell. I mean, not just have me on your show or CNN, but actually have the folks who are going to be affected. And two things that people don't understand. Right away, there's going to be an impact with the ending of the ACA subsidies. That means that premiums are going to go up for anyone on the Affordable Care Act. The second thing is, because hospitals are going to anticipate these Medicaid cuts, they're going to start charging more to private insurance. And that means everyone in America's private insurance is going to go up. So we need folks in these districts telling these stories. There are about 30 districts. And even Nancy Mace, you know, yes, it's about 10% now more Republican. But I think even those districts, there's going to be opportunities for us.
Stacey Abrams was talking about this also at the Senate level, and that's obviously, you know, the other contested races that Democrats are looking at. You've got North Carolina, where Tom Tillis, who voted against this, is not running, so there won't be an incumbent senator. That'll be an open seat. You got Susan Collins, of course, who's beaten back challenges before, who also voted against it. But then you've got, when you sort of start to expand out, you've got Texas, you've got Iowa, you've got even Nebraska, you've got Alaska, where Lisa Murkowski did vote for this. So this is what Stacey Abrams had to say about just sort of taking this messaging into those state races as well.
We've got 100 senators, not 50. And the extent to which we absolve Republican senators of protecting their people, we are doing their job for them. The best way to get a politician to not act is to not hold that person accountable. This is about an accountability summer.
How important do you think that is for these senators as well, to hear from people after their vote for this bill?
Stacey's absolutely right. She did a brilliant job in Georgia, and her helping out across the country will be critical. Look, Texas, we've got a great shot because Cornyn is in trouble. Paxton, who may win the primary, is completely beatable, and Colin Allred is running again. From friends of mine in Iowa, they say that Joni Ernst really has offended a lot of folks with some of the cavalier comments she's made about Medicaid cuts. And also, remember, tariffs have really been hurting people in places like Iowa. So I think there's 6, 7 Senate seats. You mentioned some of the others that are going to be competitive. And we have a very clear message. People keep saying, what's the Democratic message? Her message is pretty simple. You shouldn't take health care and food assistance away from the working class and make them poorer to give tax breaks to the billionaires. And, you know, whether you're AOC or whether you're Jared Golden, you can agree on that platform.
How do you understand the polling that shows the Democratic approval and Democrats of Congress being so low. I have my own theory on it, which is basically anytime you're that low, it means a lot of your own partisans are mad at you. That's the only way you get numbers that low. And they might be mad at you for a bunch of different reasons. But what's your read on it? Why do we hate you, Congressman?
Well, Congress has been low for a long time, but I'll tell you, people are frustrated at the situation. How in the world did we allow Donald Trump to win a second time? I think that's the first frustration. How did we get to this place? And then second, since Schumer made that budget deal, why are we not standing up? I think, though, you see more and more Democrats fighting now. You see more people realizing they can't just be in Congress. They've got to be in the town halls. And I do think people are responding to the base. And, Mamdani's win, and I know you've talked about it, Ezra's talked about it, I mean, that shows that there's also a need for a new generation, and people are going to organize and be creative on social media, and people want to see some new blood, and that's also part of it. They see folks that have been there 50 years, and they're like, come on, let's get some new folks a chance.
Yeah, one of the sort of genuinely sad and striking aspects of the Senate, of the Congress, the House math yesterday was that 3 seats by Democrats are unoccupied because those members sadly passed away just in the last few months. Congressman Khanna, thank you so much for your time.